Hello everybody. So today I want to make a quick video about narratives and about how narratives typically drive stocks in the short term, and they're often overdone. And Meta today is up quite a bit, more than 15%, and it's funny because it's a company that everybody was writing off as dead 6 months ago. And that's the topic of this video, because a lot of people I've seen in the comments are writing off Enphase and Tesla. If you invest in Tesla, you are used to people writing off Tesla. It's been years and years and years that people write off Tesla. These are narratives, and narratives that drive stock. And so for Meta, if you remember, that was just 6 months ago. 6 months ago, you had CNBC bashing Meta for an hour long. In the evenings, multiple times. Oh, the CEO has lost all focus. The CEO has no shareholder return in mind. The rebranding was a disaster. They should have never changed the name. The metaverse will never be a thing, even though Zuckerberg confirmed that they're going in with the metaverse and they'll keep going with the development of the metaverse. Anyways, people were like, Instagram's dead. It's losing to TikTok. TikTok is clearly winning, right? I mean, this could be further away from the truth. The rest was advertising. Advertising's not coming back. We're going into a recession. Advertising is never coming back. Meta is not going to be able to change advertising to fit the short video format. Oh, and other part of our narrative was they hired foolishly. They hired way too much. Investing in the future is foolish. These were all the narratives, and a narrative always has an ounce of truth, but it's all about taking it out of proportions. And I think for Meta, it was absolutely taken out of proportions. It's like, yes, they may have hired a little too much, like a lot of companies did. But, calling all of the new hires foolish, I mean, is just too much. Metaverse, maybe it's a little too early, but saying that it's entirely ridiculous to do that is a little too much. Criticisms, narratives tend to be too extreme. And actually, that stock was so cheap, right? It went down below $100 6 months ago. And so today you're well above 100% if you had bought it 6 months ago. And 6 months ago, I was posting the very, very first videos on the channel. I was just starting the channel, and I remember distinctly making this video because I actually bought just a tad of Meta. I should have bought more, but I'm not a value investor. But I posted this video. Oh, Meta is now trading at a PE of 9. This is a value investor's dream. And I did a rant on Meta's valuation, a 28-minute rant, and I'm thankful for 124 people who viewed that rant. But you had reached a point where Meta, who has, I believe, a bright future as the leader in social media, Meta was trading cheaper than Tootsie Roll, and they were bidding up Tootsie Roll because Tootsie Roll was going to have a good Halloween. Anyways, that's to tell you how short-term and how crazy these narratives are. It creates a lot of opportunities if you can control your thoughts. It creates a lot of opportunities if you can be stoic and really look at the facts without any emotion. Moving on, Google's the same thing. Same story. Remember the past 6 months when ChatGPT first came, 5 months ago actually. Oh, Google is dead. ChatGPT is going to redefine advertising as we know it. And there was one big ounce of truth to that, by the way. Oh, it removes the needs for ads. It totally brings the Google business model upside down. And, a little more truthless in my view is when the narrative turned to, oh, we're all going to use Bing. We're all going to Bing stuff. Just Bing it. And Bing is the grand winner. And this is where the narrative, to me, started losing credibility. And of course, the assumption of that narrative is that Google would not develop its GPT, right? Its GPT program, totally forgetting the fact that Google invented the GPTs. It's Google who invented that, who developed that. And of course, they launched Bard, and the launch was not very good. But Google is a very agile company. They've issued their Code Red, where the founders are back. Google is a company that's going to be able to have a very compelling competing product, within less than a year. Probably I've tried Google Bard. I think it's very good. I think it's almost nearly as good as ChatGPT. Google is an agile company. Like companies don't have competition just come at them and they stand still and they let them do. Right? This is not how competition works. Like if you have a major competitor, these companies are agile. They're going to change their internal resources. They're going to merge departments. They're going to be all hands on deck to address the threat, which is often an issue with these narratives, to assume that a company is asleep at the wheel. Google has shown over and over and over again that it is not asleep at the wheel. And even though ChatGPT may be a big player, I believe it is foolish to assume that Google is not going to be part of that future and is not going to have one big player in that future. And of course, now people are realizing, because Google reported, in my view, great earnings, and the stock is back up 30%, and it's well up today, and it's probably gonna be more up. So we reached the bottom, and that bottom was, interestingly, halfway through November was that bottom, which is when the narrative on ChatGPT was the strongest. That ChatGPT narrative was very, very strong, and Google hit the lowest stock price in a very long time. So narratives drive the short term, and this brings me back to my two favorite stocks, quite frankly, which are Enphase and Tesla. These are my tier 1 stocks. These are my energy revolution stocks, and they're both being attacked by narratives right now. So solar, right, yesterday, Enphase, and I've seen in the comments, many people telling me I'm wrong on Enphase, and it's okay if I'm wrong, by the way. It's a diversified portfolio, but that doesn't really matter. I don't think I'm wrong. But, people are like, oh, NEM3 confuses buyers. Buyers definitely won't buy solar now because of NEM3. And it's funny, like if you listen to the Enphase call, it was all about California-centric narrative. It was all California, California, California. Totally forgetting that this is a company, Enphase, that's probably going to have a bigger European business than the entire US business within a year or two, in my view, if the growth trends continue, right? So that's a narrative, right? The world is not just California. Enphase is an international company. They operate all over, right? Interest rates will remain high for very long. This goes against the very name of the channel, beat the denominator, right? I named the channel beat the denominator because I believe that QE will come back, and I believe that denominator expansion of how many US dollars there are out there, the stock of US dollars, is the only way. Thus, interest rates will come back. But the narrative is like, oh, interest rates are high forever now, high permanently. As if people were not agile. Buyers are agile. If interest rates are different, buyers and installers will change how they sell the product to make the products compelling. People adapt, companies adapt. And you have what I call the forever anti-narrative, which is it's a red flag that you can wield to any company that you want to claim is in trouble. Just bring up competition. The competition is intensifying. The competition is coming. Forgetting the underlying technology of Enphase. The underlying technology of Enphase is microinverters. To invest in Enphase, one has to believe in microinverters. And, so I see the current narrative and I see that and I compare it to my own truth, hours, what am I talking about? Hundreds of hours of research on Enphase. I've loved Enphase for a very long time and followed solar industry for a very long time. And there's truths, these are my truths, Solar is the cheapest source of energy. Solar gets exponentially better. We have the data for both of these. The data is clear. Right? Batteries are needed to unlock the solar potential, the full solar potential, right? And batteries are also exponential. And if you have batteries plus solar, you have a perfect combination of energy independence for every single family home out there. Every single family home out there can become energy independent, even in Alaska, even where it's cold. The average home has about 9 times the roof space required to power itself, 9 times. And that's at the current power of solar panels. So anyways, and microinverters are the better technology. In my view, they last twice as long. They are compartmentalized systems are better. Anyways, this is not an Enphase video, but this is my truth, right? It's not like it's when you arrive at your own truth on something, you're not reading someone else's conclusion, right? You are having a narrative in your mind, a story in your mind that you build from facts. Right, from facts that you've observed. So it's thinking from scratch, if that makes any sense. You're thinking from scratch. You're trying at least as best as you can thinking from scratch. I think I think on Enphase, to me, this company is clearly the future. To me, solar is clearly the future, and the space, in my view, will be much larger 10 years from now. And yes, there is a slowdown right now. But that slowdown is one thing. The narrative is another thing. I believe the narrative is way stronger and has a way stronger impact on the stock price than the slowdown. So all I have to ask myself when I look at Enphase is, will this company be much bigger? Will this space be much bigger 10 years from now? And to me, it's very obvious that it will, which is why I bought the dip on Enphase yesterday. And Tesla, if you follow Tesla, you're used to the same narrative, right? Tesla, the narrative is always the same. Elon Musk is a political flight risk, unfocused CEO. Tesla keeps driving prices. Competition is coming. So as always, with any narrative, there is always an ounce of truth. But you're ignoring a lot of stuff. Like when you say, "Oh, yeah, Elon Musk is a public figure," but that also brings a lot of advertising, of free advertising. He's in the news cycle all the time. Every single tweet, he's in the news cycle, outside of Twitter and on Twitter. I made a video about that, about my estimate of how much free advertising Elon was providing to Tesla. And I think I estimated it was something like $700 million equivalent of free advertising that he was giving Tesla just for being on the news all the time. And clearly, controversy or funny statements or memes get clicks. They get clicks. And so that's the way it works, right? It's about grabbing attention. Tesla keeps dropping prices, right? Competition is coming. These are also two narratives, but I believe these are only an ounce of the truth. This is not the full truth. For example, in my view, and we've seen that multiple times, price hikes always get advertised. Price decreases always get advertised by the media. Oh, Tesla drops prices amid weak demand. But price hikes never get advertised. And actually, you may have seen the recent Model X and Model S increase a few days ago. That wasn't advertised anywhere. That wasn't on the front page of CNBC. That wasn't on the front page of Business News. Every time there's a cut, it's on the front page. So this fuels this narrative. It's a problematic but whenever there's a hike, it never gets advertised in the same way that whenever there's a drop. I think it's very problematic. Prices for Tesla are in fact dynamic. Tesla doesn't price based on a model year, but Tesla prices based on live demand on the website. Simple as that. It's balancing supply and demand on a daily basis. That's how their price works, and that's why pricing is dynamic. To understand pricing and to understand competition and the view of Tesla, you have to understand that. You have to have the view, the truth, that in order for Tesla to have a 20 to 25% market share, which is a mind-boggling market share, the only way to achieve that is to make the car more affordable. Marketing would only be a temporary fix. Marketing would only help you for a few quarters. But over the long run, you can't have a car have such huge market share if it is not affordable. And the CEO has been repeating that so many times. And so the prices will go down way more in the future on EV. And this is something think tank like Tony Seba's think tank Rethink X is very strong on, and it's clear that there will be a day where a smaller electric car will cost about $10,000 brand new. That day will come when a smaller electric car will cost about $10,000 brand new. Because electric cars follow the cost curves of technology. They follow similar cost curves to laptops and cell phones. They don't follow the cost curves of appliances. Right? At a fundamental level, a gas car, a nice car is an appliance. a Tesla or an electric car in general is a consumer electronics product. And that is a fundamental difference that most people don't believe to be a truth. But again, I've come up to that conclusion on my own, and to me, it is my truth. And that's why when I hear the narrative that hurts Tesla right now, I'm not worried. And I'm buying some more Tesla, and I'm buying some more Enphase. So anyways, this is obviously just entertainment. This is not investment advice, just entertainment. Hope you were entertained. Appreciate your likes, appreciate your subscribes, and have a wonderful day.